Thanks, Taylor. Well, back to school here in Maryland, just about 2 weeks away, and still a lot of uncertainty heading into this new school year. And joining us this morning with more is child psychiatrist Dr. Soraya Torbay from the Kennedy Krieger Institute. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today to talk about this very important subject, actually.
It really is. What are you hearing right now from some of the children that you work with?
It really is very variable, one depending on the age of the child and their background, but there are a lot of concerns about going back to school and a lot of excitement about going back to school. A lot of kids, some kids are just worried because of the lack of structure that they've gotten used to, going back to very rigorous days, 7 days, like 5 days a week. They had the Wednesdays that were asynchronous, so lots of difference in schedules. Some kids are really worried about separating from their parents. Some kids are thinking, is this even safe, me going back to school? And at the same time, I've been seeing really a lot of excitement about going back to just regular schedules and seeing their friends. And so it's really been very variable.
I know that the Delta variant has a lot of families pretty concerned because this is a variant that does seem to be affecting children. And so, in fact, I talked to one mom who said her daughter just turned 12 and she begged her mom to get the vaccine. Are you hearing any of this from some of the kids that you work with?
I'm hearing a lot of concern, yes, especially from anxious kids, really worrying, is this going to be safe? Even without the Delta variant, they were worried about going back to school. So I think this doesn't help the little anxious kids, but really working with them on building that flexibility, that adaptability, that yes, things can change, but we can work through it. But yes, I am hearing some concerns about this.
So how do parents prep their kids for the idea that things could change? A lot of schools are starting completely as normal this year with a few changes, but looking ahead, the idea that, hey, we may have to drop back to potentially, at least partially virtual, that sort of thing.
There's a lot of preparation that we have been working with parents in different, honestly, in different domains. So the first thing I think would be just really emphasize safety. Like if the adults, the grown-ups didn't think, if the child is that young, really having that language, if the adults didn't think it is safe, they wouldn't be sending you back to school. But you know what, if something changes, if this changes, then you may have to stay home, really like opening their minds towards that flexibility of like having to stay home, starting that conversation really early, keeping them updated, no matter what the age of the child is. I would really keep them part of the conversation. It does impact them a lot, keeping them, informing them that you're communicating with the school, that you're keeping up to date, just keeping them updated because they're concerned too. And with really returning to school, some of the kids that have struggled with separation and things like that, starting to practice separating, starting to practice like being away for a little bit.
How do you do that, especially with young kids who need supervision? What do you do? Walk outside around the house and hide for a little while?
Well, maybe not like that. But maybe, for example, staying at grandparents for a longer period of time. Hey, just really setting the schedule for how that's going to go, setting like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have you sit at grandma or grandpa for this time, from this to this, and we're going to have to go and we'll be back a little bit, but in small doses and increasing it over time. And really, if you have a psychologist or a psychiatrist on board and you have been working with them, of course, like working with them on a plan for that. But even like as simple as that, if they're having difficulty going to grandparents, that could be a way, or if you have a babysitter, you could have the babysitter come and you leave, for example, those types of plans to help them really with separation.
All right, Dr. Torbay, thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining us this morning. Good luck with all of your clients that you deal with.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.